I see Mr. Butler stand up, and here comes all the firemen. They're all unloading, and they're coming with their hoses, and that's when we realized they're coming for us. Like, we shouldn't have lit a fire. I didn't realize at 16. Yeah, I needed a permit. I didn't know I needed a permit.
Wait, you lit a fire for your first match, and the firemen had to show up, just totally ruining your first match as a man.
Yes.
The matchmaking services will reward readiness. Is that kind of true, Nicole?
100%, David. That's exactly what it is. So our process is, once we find out what you're looking for, then we match you with somebody who has the same ideal.
Well, you have an anti-ghosting clause?
These are people that come to me and my co-founder, Jolynn, and they say, I want to get married in the temple. Like, I'm temple ready. I'm a great catch. This is what I bring to the table. Like, who can you introduce me to? The convention I went to, there were about 150 worldwide matchmakers.
When I was dating in my 20s compared to my 30s, it was a completely different experience.
50% of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are mid-single adults now, over the age of 31 years old, that are single. This episode is brought to you by Tiny 3D Temples. For more information on Tiny 3D Temples, make sure you guys visit the link in the description. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Word Radio. I'm your host, Cardon Ellis. Today I'm joined in the studio by David Boyce of 52 Churches in 52 weeks. I almost fumbled my words there. 52 churches in 52 weeks. Say that fast 5 times. As well as
say it 52 times fast. Maybe that's what you got.
Word. I like your style. So we're also joined by Nicole Miller of UTMatch, Utah Match, for lack of a better term, .com, who is a legitimate, check this out, David Boyce, you are on the line right now with a Mormon matchmaker. Okay, no, not a Mormon, a Latter-day Saint matchmaker. Okay, and apparently LDS matchmakers, Latter-day Saint matchmakers are a thing, David Boyce. So from what I hear, she's got a bunch of girls and not enough guys in her dating pool. So we're going to be talking a little bit with Dave here about the status of LDS dating, mid-single adults dating. We'll be talking with Nicole about it, and we're going to have some fun. I have a feeling this is going to be a little off the hizzy, as we used to say in the early 2000s. All right. So, Nicole, before we go any farther, I know a lot of people's ears have perked up because they hear Mormon matchmaker. What the heck is that? Tell us who you are, what your organization is, and what you do for people to help them find their eternal companions. Go.
Thank you. So I'm Nicole Miller with UTMatch, and what we specialize is in curated introductions. So what that means is that we have clients that come to us who have had a myriad of either troubles or good dating experiences, and they come to us because they want better. So they come to me and they tell me what they're looking for, what they bring to the table, and then I set them up with amazing LDS singles. So we specialize in LDS singles because that is what's important to me. I see so many young single adults, mid-single adults who are amazing. They have great careers. They have amazing resumes. They're self-made, and the one puzzle piece that's missing is that special person. So that's what we specialize in, is helping them find that special person.
Okay, I'm checking out your website here, and man, you run the full gamut. So what exactly is the full gamut? Like, okay, I feel so lucky. Me and Brad Whitbeck have both said we feel like we were the last helicopter out of Saigon as it fell to the dating apps. And I know there's a lot of guys that watch our show that maybe, unfortunately, travesty has befallen them, or maybe divorce or whatever, and they're back on the market, or they just maybe didn't get married in their 20s and they find themselves in their 30s because careers and education and life situations made them super busy, and so on and so forth. You're right. There's so many amazing men and women out there that want to get married. And that's a big part of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, both our culture and our doctrine. And, they're trying as hard as they can, but not everybody is a Quakuel that can just look like a baller on Instagram, and get 5,000 likes every 2 seconds, and they could use a little bit of help. So I feel lucky that I made it out of dating before the dating apps took over. Okay. And then there was this period of time where there was no help, but now it seems like this kind of digital cavalry has shown up, and hopefully, I guess that's you, right? Am I reading the tea leaves right here? So how do you do it? How do you match people? And then also, who are we going to hook up with David Boyce?
Oh boy.
I mean, a hottie, right?
Baller. By the way, we will be the judges of that. You can't trust women. Like, I'm sorry, you can't trust women, Oh, come on, Nicole.
Pardon.
Nicole,
Listen,
David,
if they're a special spirit, I'll tell you. If they're a special spirit, I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
If they're hot, you can trust me.
Okay. Well, at least.
Well, this is such a good thing to discuss because I don't think it's talked about enough, especially in the church. And myself becoming a new member about 1.5 years ago, I find myself in this new world of dating with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints coming from a Protestant background. So one thing that I've kind of taken away is sometimes there is some doom and gloom, and there sometimes can be a lot of shame, a lot of disappointment against something that is a pure, beautiful desire to find someone real. And right now, there's just so much noise pollution. There's so much dating app fatigue. There is all these dating coaches, and you get into attachment theory, and you get into red pill content, and you get into, maybe men need to go their own way, and you get into passport bros. And there's just so much confusion going on right now. And I think there is something to be said about maybe we need to find something else, especially with the dating apps, because it literally is Las Vegas. It literally is a casino where with the apps, you are just trying to pump the next slot, see what comes up, and hopefully you'll hit the jackpot. So it's not 100% difficult with the dating apps in terms of you do have some success stories, but it literally is, will that jackpot finally hit? And if not, you feel like you're walking out just completely pocketless.
Now, wait, you say shame about, I don't think there's shame in being single. I mean, we definitely venerate eternal families and so on and so forth. I mean, we don't shame you for being single.
I don't, maybe not shame isn't the right word, but just something where it feels like life was supposed to have added up.
Abject self-disgust.
If you do have that right desire, because a lot of times, and myself now being a member of a singles ward, there can be a lot of lies that creep in, that we have some negative self-talk. So I'm very curious to hear about Nicole's take, especially with UTMatch.com. One thing I want to ask Nicole first. So when Cardon first introduced us, he mentioned, I looked real quick online, I saw something about your first experience as a matchmaker. Nicole, can you tell that story? Because I was so curious to learn more when I first stumbled upon that.
Absolutely, David. Let me tell you about it. So I was 16 years old. I was a junior in Ogden High School, and I had an AP history teacher that I just loved, Mr. Butler. I loved him. I thought he was the smartest guy in the world. He was single, and he never dated. And I thought, this guy, he was, let's be honest, average looking guy. He wore bow ties, and back in the 80s, nobody wore bow ties. Let's be honest, right? And so I thought, I can help him out. I'm going to help him out. He's a great guy. And he was an LDS, but I didn't care. I thought he was amazing. And I hated to see him alone. I love to see people happy. And he's a happy guy. He's a brilliant guy. So anyhow, I set out, grabbed my best friend. I'm like, we got to find a chick for him. We got to find somebody for him. Well, when you're in high school, how many 30-year-olds do you know, right? So we found a single teacher. She was a gym teacher, and she was darling. So anyhow, we set the two up. And I had to hit him up first. And I was like, Mr. Butler, I got somebody for you. And I didn't tell him who it was, And my best friend hit Miss Breezy up and was like, hey, you know what? We got somebody for you. And
Miss Breezy?
Yeah.
Oh, so okay. Butler and Breezy.
She's so cute.
This literally sounds like a rom-com waiting to happen. Okay.
Right.
Here comes a Hallmark movie script now.
We got their consent, And, as your average 16-year-old, we just thought, let's make it super romantic, right? So we set it up at a park right by my house. It was called Buce's Park. So we set it up, and it's this pond, and it's got all these beautiful pine trees, but it had one of those fire rings. So why not light a fire, right? Like, you need a fire. So anyhow, being 16, I wasn't a great cook, so we just ordered out. We ordered some great takeout, and I had my mom, order this really deluxe, this Italian raspberry cake. And this thing was going to be like the best date you've ever heard of, right? So they both met at Buce's Pond. We set them up, and then they realized, like, we know each other, right? Like, we're on the same faculty at Ogden High School, right? But they went with it. They were just like, we'll placate these two, right? So as they sat there, my best friend and I, we were so excited. We're like, we're just going to go hide in the bushes. We're going to see how this goes, right? So we light the fire. We have a table. Like, it's super romantic, and we just think these two are going to be married in a week, right? So all of a sudden, as we're hiding behind the bushes, I hear in the distance, I can hear these fire engines. And I'm like, what? Like kind of like settle down. I'm trying to listen in on the conversation. Like, what's going on here? Pretty soon I realize they're getting closer and closer, and there's not one of them, there's three of them. So as they pull up, I see Mr. Butler stand up, and here comes all the firemen. They're all unloading, and they're coming with their hoses. And that's when we realized they're coming for us. Like, we shouldn't have lit a fire. I didn't realize at 16. Yeah, I needed a permit. I didn't know I needed a permit.
Wait, you lit a fire for your first match, and the firemen had to show up, just totally ruining your first match as a man. Yes. So anyhow, my AP history teacher had to explain to them, listen, it's a blind date. These kids over here hiding in the bushes, like, they set us up. We're really sorry. Like, nobody got a ticket, and they put it out, and we all had to leave. We let them take the food, and they didn't end up getting married, but he did get married a year later, and we were invited to his wedding. So I don't consider it like my first gig at matchmaking wasn't an absolute L. It was decent. That is funny. So what are you going to do for David Boyce? Are we going to maybe call the cops? Like, you set him up with an ex-con on parole that hasn't reported to her parole officer, and then the black and white rolls up and says, "What are you doing talking to somebody outside of your area?" Is that what we got planned going on here?
That's not what we're going to do. Like, we're not going to do that to him. Like, we're not going to do, like, we'll light a bonfire if he wants a bonfire. If he wants super romantic, like, I've gotten better since I was 16. So we can do super romantic.
I prefer no law enforcement involved on my first dates. Okay. So that's just one caveat. Maybe I'm being too picky.
That's a deal breaker. So deal breaker. I give you 3 deal breakers. That's one.
Red flags. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is, I want to know, you say you give 3 deal breakers. What's one? Well, I want to know, like, what's your process? Because we spoke only briefly on the phone. I just remember thinking it was so interesting. You have like a rigorous process for talking to people. Absolutely. I like, holy smoke. Describe what you do. Like, give me a day in the life of UTMatch.com. What is it? A Mormon matchmaker, for lack of a better term.
Yes. So people find us through our website, and they apply to join UTMatch, and we let them pay their money, and then we tell them, we're going to run you through a criminal background check, and if you don't pass, we give your money back. And so we run that criminal background check. We tell them we'll be back to you in a few days, and we'll let you know if you've been accepted or not. Once they've been accepted, then we welcome them to UTMatch. We send them a questionnaire, and we ask them about their past histories, their likes, what they're looking for, what they bring to the table, what their dating history has been. It's not a huge questionnaire, but it is pretty extensive. So you can do it in 15, 20 minutes. It's not like an all-night project, but we get to the nitty-gritty. Let's just say that I have a guy from Ukraine who built my CRM, and he kept saying, "Nicole, what's this pornography question? Why you ask so many questions? What kind of matchmaker are you?" So we asked
Wait, so what? You ask them what kind of porn they like? What?
I asked them when the last time they viewed porn was.
Oh, really? What, is this like a tempo recommend interview? What's going on?
No, here's the thing is, I have girls that sign up, and they've had such bad experiences with their last date that was addicted to porn that they said, that's a deal breaker for me. And so, if somebody comes in and they've had
I'm getting
trauma,
some head nods around here. I'm getting some head nods on this.
It's something right now, especially in today's day and age, because it is so common and accepted nowadays. So one thing that have been challenged, especially with the dating apps, is like dating apps seem to reward attention.
Yes.
So a lot of times, like especially when I've been on some, you will see the Instagram handles. So typically that's an immediate swipe left because it's typically something where they're trying to gain followers or almost kind of marketing themselves, not in a pornographic way, but just some type of way that says, hey, look at my looks. You know?
But also to be less cynical.
Yes.
Couldn't you say maybe a girl feels more safe being hit up on the Instagram DMs first and not her like private phone number? And that's maybe the pipeline she's cultivating. Couldn't you say that?
I typically see it more
Nicole's
as...
like, no, I know these women.
I see it more as trying to use the dating apps to gain more Instagram followers. That's typically what I see. Now, with the Matchmaker type of service, and this is kind of where I've been interested, is the apps reward attention seeking. The matchmaking services will reward readiness. Is that kind of true, Nicole?
100%, David. That's exactly what it is. So our process is once we find out what you're looking for, then we match you with somebody who has the same ideals. So let's say you say, I want to be married in the temple, ideally within a year. So I have a temple recommend. I don't drink, I don't vape, I don't smoke. I don't have any like past trauma. My last girlfriend didn't beat me like Cardon was saying. So you're ready to go, right?
Brittany's a savage.
Right. So anyhow, so what we do is our process is totally different. So you have to learn to trust me. So you don't even get to know the entire name. So you don't get to see an Instagram handle. So I tell you very little. I give you facts about the person that I want to set you up with. You don't get to see them. You don't know their full name. You don't have their phone number. Look at Cardon. He's like sweating over
this
there.
Is hardcore. He's sweating. No, I mean, I'm loving what I'm hearing because I'm glad somebody's taking it this seriously because there's people who are I've never met more people that are just an inch away that just need a little bit of help. Like whether it's socially or whether it's like there's just something. I have bumper bowled through life, and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has been 9 out of 10 of my bumpers. And I just recognize I couldn't have gotten there if it weren't for all of the good help and input that my community gave me. Like famously, Hillary Clinton had that book that it takes a village to raise a child. I feel like it took 17 villages and 17 wards to get me to the happy life that I enjoy now, being married to Brittany, having my children, having this podcast and this radio program and so on and so forth. And so I hate thinking that there's somebody else that is just an inch away from something that with a little nudge and a little help could get what I am enjoying now, but isn't. So sometimes though, it's very easy to just focus on your life and not focus on others. And you need to take some of these like life infrastructural things seriously. And so I'm glad to hear that you're taking things seriously. I do have one question about the criminal background check though. Okay.
Yes.
So my buddy, for example, famously RFM does all these hit pieces on Jonah Barnes since he wrote a successful Mormon book, and he's married, he's got 6 kids. It's not like he's on the market and he's not actually legitimately worried. But like, for example, RFM's a lawyer, and he's a cruel hypocrite. Goes through, finds expunged records from BYU where Jonah Barnes has literally a criminal history because, I'm not kidding you, he was walking from the law building as an MBA student to the Mazer building, and he crossed the street in front of a parking volunteer at BYU, or a parking meter. And the woman got so angry that he jaywalked, and he just said, it's the utility road that nobody uses. And he argued with a traffic cop on BYU campus until she got so frustrated with him that she slapped him with a jaywalking misdemeanor. Jaywalking. I'm not kidding you.
Yeah.
He shows up to court, gets sentenced to like 20 hours of community service, and the judge literally says, are you kidding me? Somebody wrote a jaywalking ticket. Get out of here. Like, he was actually mad at the BYU police for having wasted his time with a jaywalking ticket, right? But like, dude, when the guy went to go get a job on some other thing, it like popped up. They're like, what is this? To to me, it seems like that could unnecessarily deter great candidates. I went through Salt Lake City Airport, and I admit it, I mouthed off to the TSA. I said they were incompetent, that it was unconstitutional, or that the Patriot Act was unconstitutional. They weren't protecting anybody, and they didn't like the lip I was given, and they landed me with a Class B misdemeanor. You know what I'm saying? You can find it. To this day, one of my only regrets in life is that I didn't smile in my mugshot, okay? But they did take down my criminal alias as good looking. So I am Cardon Good Looking Ellis, according to the state of Utah, right?
Cardon, you're always looking for the positives.
That's what I'm saying. I'm very happy it happened. And to a certain extent, it just added to some of my edge later in life. Like, dude, this guy's got a criminal record, right? So you're doing one of two things wrong. You're unnecessarily getting rid of guys that could be good candidates, right? And you're also taking away the opportunity for chicks to marry hot dudes with edge.
Listen, my guys with speeding tickets, I literally have somebody with an excessive speeding ticket. They're fine. Cardon, I'm looking for pedophiles. I'm looking for people with drug history. I'm looking for things that would disqualify you from maybe mistreating somebody. And on both sides, for the men and for the women.
So you just want to know. You don't say if anything shows up, you're DQ'd.
No, I mean, I see everything that's on there. And if it's something like that, listen, like who cares about something like that? I'm looking for felonies. I'm looking for dangerous people. Like, I'm going to vet these people. I'm not going to send some sweetheart on a date with, an axe murderer. Come on. Like that's why I'm not the apps. That's why I don't swipe. That's why they hire me, is so I vet these people. So
one thing that I've learned, especially in dating, is like you do want to provide a sense of safety, a sense of security very early on. So I do think that's something that, especially for women who are taking a risk, like dating apps or matchmaking services, like you want to make sure that
I'm 100% on board when it comes to the safety thing. But I gotta say, I feel that this background check idea is very disproportionately gender biased against men, because men do have unique problems: homelessness, violence, domestic abuse, suicide. There's unique. 95% of all inmates worldwide are men. Like, yes, men have their issues and they have unique gender-based issues. Okay, well, so do women. And there's no background check for that mean, nasty hoe that had talked behind your back and said you were something horrible all over Facebook to all of her friends and like ruined. I have seen men's lives ruined by vindictive, catty women willing to lie about them in something that's technically not criminal. Like, you're not going to call the cops for being like a horrible gossip that lies about her ex-boyfriend. Okay, but like that does do social damage to men. And I know men whose lives have been ruined by vindictive ex-wives saying things about them that weren't true, vindictive ex-girlfriends saying heinous, horrible things about them that aren't true. And there's no background check for that.
Well, but listen, I have a contract and they get thrown out of UTMatch the second that they ghost or catfish or badmouth or miss the line. So we do vet for that too.
Well, you have an anti-ghosting clause?
100%. 100%.
That is a great idea.
I expect my daters to show up on their dates on time so that the other dater isn't sitting there waiting. So yeah, they get thrown out. I keep their money and they're out. I'm dead serious about. I'm working with people who are professionals and they are amazing daters. They don't have time to waste. So yeah, I don't waste their time.
I think one thing I'm learning that I'm appreciating is just the dedication to your own reputation, because the dating apps do not have a reputation. On top of that, they're often the attention economics are skewed, because I've seen stats where it's like, maybe like 5% of guys are even getting likes on there, proportionate to like 50% of guys liking the profiles of women.
Yeah, Tinder stats are brutal.
But on top of that, it's very surface level, and there's this illusion of infinite options. So it has created an atmosphere where ghosting is it's acceptable because there's just so many endless options. And it's like, what is that doing to our brains? who are out there in the dating world right now. One thing that I find kind of interesting, especially myself being new with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, is entering into this new Latter-day Saint dating landscape. And it's one of those things where it's like you can't ghost someone that you're going to pass the sacrament to on Sunday.
Oh,
You
okay,
can't
good point,
do like
good point.
because how are you building the kingdom doing that to a brother or sister in Christ? So what I appreciate about this discussion, especially looking for other options with all the dating app fatigue, with all the other type of social media type of attention-seeking validation that's going on right now, is how do you find the seriousness? How do you find the readiness? How do you find something that you feel invested in? Okay,
so I like some of what I'm hearing. I got questions about some of what I'm hearing.
Shoot.
Okay. So first off, I appreciate that all of us have grown tired of a lot of the games that are played on internet dating and the attention economy, as you say it, and so on and so forth. But also, hasn't that always been kind of part of the game? Like, even pre-Tinder, when I was dating, I heard nothing but ad nauseum girls saying, I'm just like so tired of the game. You know, it's like, well, then why do you fall for all the guys that play it well? You know, whether it's Tinder, whether it's the bunny hop dances in the 50s, or whether it was MySpace in the late 90s, there's always a game to be played in dating. And sure, all of us hate it when we look at it objectively and we clutch our pearls at the state of our affairs. But then, like, when we're in the game, we actually kind of enjoy it. Okay. So, I mean, I shouldn't say enjoy it, but like, it's one of those necessary evils. So, like, hasn't kind of just bucking up and playing the game been a fundamental part of dating for time in memoriam?
I mean, you have to have some swag, right? You have to have a little bit of game to get a date. I think there's different levels to game, and when you have game, like, you need game to find somebody. But when you start playing games, that is different, and that is messing with people's emotional health and feelings and love, and that's where it gets. That's why you just asked David why I'm different. Well, because people pay me. They've already stepped up, so it's not like just willy-nilly, like, okay, I'm going to try her. I'm going to pay her, and I'm going to step up. I'm going to be emotionally invested, and I'm going to be vulnerable, and I'm going to trust her that she's going to set me up with somebody who's going to be good for me. And so it's like, both people are mutually assured because they're doing that extra step to try and find somebody, to find an eternal mate. This isn't just a date. This isn't just a hookup, a swipe hookup. Like, yeah, I need somebody for Friday night. These are people that come to me and my co-founder, Jolynn, and they say, I want to get married in the temple. Like, I'm temple ready. I'm a great catch. This is what I bring to the table. Like, who can you introduce me to?
Wow, that is interesting. You mentioned the fact that, okay, so people pay for your service, right?
Yes.
That's very interesting. Okay, and I'm not dogging on that at all, but that is a unique filter in and of itself, because, like, I've always loved the principle of tithing. For, first off, the spiritual idea of just sacrificing something in the name of the Lord and then dealing with what you have left over. Like, whether it was the ancient Israelites and sacrificing the firstborn of their flocks and then dealing with all the other, or whether it was pigeons in the temple or whatever. I think there's value in that, distancing yourself from the consumerism of the world and the physicality and the arm of the flesh of the world by simply just overtly sacrificing something and then dealing with what you have left over. Okay, I believe in that as a principle. But there's also like kind of like this practical benefit that you seem to be tapping into here, that it kind of does separate the men from the boys. Like, you know, it kind of like, I actually appreciate it as a temple recommend question, because everybody talks until money is involved. But, you know, you're right that it's like everybody says they're serious about dating, right? Okay, but will you drop your B roster and focus on your A roster, pal? You know? And it's like, okay, yeah, will you pay whatever it is? I don't know how much you charge.
Listen, I'm the cheapest matchmaker. So I went to a matchmaking convention.
There's more of them. There's a lot of them.
Cardon, I could, like, let me count the ways. Yeah, like, I'm the best, so don't look anywhere else. But yes, there are a lot of them. But here's the thing. So I'm talking with this matchmaker in Dubai. She doesn't pick up the phone for less than $50,000. My most expensive. She won't pick up the phone. Won't pick up the phone. No. My most expensive, my highest level of service for my co-founder and I, $5,000, and that's pretty deluxe. So I'm telling you, you will not find. Matter of fact, when we were in New York, people started going, you're gonna depreciate the value of a matchmaker. So we had to lie, and they were like, what's your average? We're like, well, like $5,000-$10,000, because everybody was so mad at us.
Wait, whoa. So, okay, I didn't know matchmakers were a thing like this.
We are a thing. I'm a certified matchmaker, baby.
How many people in the United States of America get married per year off of matchmakers?
Okay, that I don't know, but I do know the convention I went to, there were about 150 worldwide matchmakers. So,
wow.
I mean, I had somebody say, yeah, like, I'm from Jordan. I was like, West Jordan, South Jordan? She's like, the country of Jordan, Nicole. And I was like, oh, okay. And I met my matchmaker from Dubai, and we sat at a table with matchmakers from London, and they were so intrigued because everybody said, oh, I know somebody who's LDS who lives in London.
Is this just gold diggers going after rich guys, or do some of the marriages last? Because I got to tell you, there's half of me that's cynical that thinks, okay, if I were totally hot, I'd go to a matchmaker. I would just gold dig the crap out of the hottest guy I could get. And I don't think there's any shame in that, because sooner or later you're going to get into some argument, and you can look at some guy when he's blue in the face and just think, I'm going to put up your crap right now because tomorrow I'm spending $50,000 on your gold card. You know what I'm saying? And there's no shame in it for the guy, because if he's looking at his smoking hot wife, she crashes the car, she says something stupid in public that you didn't appreciate, and or you showed up late for something and she's screaming at you, and it's your fault, but you're just gonna smile there and nod and look at her and be like, I'm gonna put up with your crap right now just because you know what, you're so smoking hot that I'm gonna be fine with it, right? So I get there's some of that interplay between the genders, all right? So part of me thinks like that's fine, but part of me also thinks like I'm cynical, and I'm like, is this just gold digging? But I have met enough Indian couples here in Los Angeles that were arranged that just like I came around about homeschooling in the early 2000s by meeting so many homeschooled kids that were far more well adjusted than the 90s versions were. And during COVID, the only normal kids that escaped COVID were the homeschooled ones, because the kids that were forced to stay in the prison camps of public schools during 18 months of lockdown, were just developmentally delayed by 2 years. Okay. So I've kind of come around on this arranged marriage thing, and matchmaking, it's not arranged marriage, but there are pseudo arrangements there. So I could kind of see it going both ways. Is there a higher success rate? Can you talk numbers? Do you have a higher success rate of marriages lasting 10 years if put together by a matchmaker? Or is it just cynical, just cattle call, give me a rich guy, give me a hot wife? Describe the scenario for me.
Okay, so I'm totally different than what you're talking about, because I mean, there's very few just filthy rich billionaire LDS men just beating down my door going, give me the hottest chick I can find and make her as young as I can possibly make her. That's not happening.
Well, don't make him sound like an Arab sheik. Geez, man.
Well, I'm just saying. We got very few of those LDS guys out there, right? But what I see is amazing professionals that have everything in their life except for that special person. Wow. So nobody's looking to gold dig. Everybody's looking for that special person. And you know what? They're amazing people who could be compatible with a million different people. But where do you go? David, where do you go? You can't go to the bars. You can't, where do you go? You go to the YSA wards, and, it starts to feel like family. So like you said, you're passing the sacrament. Sometimes it feels weird, right? It may work for some people, but where else do you go? And that's the niche that we're fitting. That is the missing piece. Listen, I have raised my kids. My last child just left on a mission a few months ago. And my best friend and I got together and we said, we need to do something. We're just not going to sit around. We have so much life left. And then when I told her, we want to start a matchmaking business, she didn't hesitate, because she has a daughter that's in this age range that is fantastic. She is beautiful. She's athletic. She is smart. She is gifted. She is spiritual. She works at the temple. The list goes on and on and on of check marks, but she's finding it hard to find somebody. I have a son who's 22, who's just kind of now back from a mission, who's starting to look for somebody. And he says, Mom, all I have is the dating apps. And so there are amazing people out there that aren't looking to gold dig. They're looking for that eternal golden ticket. That's it.
Okay, I got to tell you, I'm extremely sympathetic to this. I even actually looked at white labeling a dating app just for mid-single adults in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints a couple of years ago, before developing the Book of Mormon video game that we're doing. That's where I ended up putting my digital energies, shall we say, because I recognize there is not a power vacuum, but there is an empty hole in the culture of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Really, post-mission, we don't cater to people very well. 50% of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are mid-single adults now, over the age of 31 years old, that are single. And we they're like that, just kind of like forgotten half, where like we have so many robust programs for youth, so many EFYs, so many FSYs, so many Trek programs, so many camps, so many this. Like, I feel like from cradle to 22 years old, returned missionary, you are in good hands. But once we drop you off, we're like, okay, well, it was great. Now back to the other youth, we're not that good at it, but it is such a part, and your soul yearns for it. And also, my life got infinitesimally better in infinitesimal ways once I married Brittany. The things that I wanted to do, my hopes, my dreams, my creative energies, my everything, was only enabled by Brittany, not somehow prohibited. So I would want others to have that experience, but like, some people really can't just do it themselves. They're great candidates for marriage, but maybe they're not as social. Maybe they don't have employment opportunities that put them in front of a million people. I was a door-to-door salesman. I actually went out on dates with girls that I met on the doors. You know what I'm saying? They were just like really hot and personable. And I was like, hey, you want to go out? Like, me and my buddies are doing this afterwards. Like, yeah, sure. So it's like, not everybody can just literally pull off the ultimate cold call of cold calls, right? But they're great people too. So I've always wondered, like, it sounds like paid matchmakers aren't enough. Like, why don't we have this as like a regional calling? Like a group of like 5 women that are in charge of like talking with all the ladies, and then 5 men that are in charge of talking with all the active men, and just being like, okay, we got a pool of 1,000 people. We are literally going to like, why isn't the Jewish matchmaker of Fiddle on the Roof like an actual Mormon thing? You know what I'm saying?
She is, Cardon.
Yeah, that's true. I know, I get it, but I'm just saying, like, how did we not think of this earlier? And how do people have to go to the private sector? I'm glad they have you, and I get it. Maybe it's not the church's responsibility. Hey guys, we're going to pause the video here just for a second to highlight one of our sponsors. We are super grateful for the sponsorship of Tiny 3D Temples. They are a company that produces all kinds of LDS decor. You can see it around our studio, and not only do they help us financially with the program, but they also provide us with all of these cool giveaways for listeners of our program.
It is absolutely beautiful.
This is a beautiful temple in Curitiba, Brazil.
And we are super grateful for their sponsorship. And if you would like to know more, please make sure you guys check them out at tiny3dtemples.com. But like, yeah, man, my mind is getting blown here, bro. What are your thoughts, David?
Well, it's social shifts. So, like 20 years ago, like we didn't have Facebook, or in your case, MySpace, apparently.
Yeah.
Those were the days. But with our phones, it's become such an individual kind of thing. And I mentioned the Instagram handles earlier. I mentioned one video I've done in the past where our phones are almost kind of like mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of us all? It's that kind of like thinking right now, where the phones have really made us more individualistic. So we've outsourced a lot of that emotional connection to the apps, to the different type of devices that we can see. And it's really kind of just oversaturated things. It's just made things a little bit too easy, this microwavable type of expectation that, we should be able to find our lifelong companion just at a quick swipe of something. And it's not that easy, especially as you get older. One thing that I have mentioned in the past is, if you've been single for a long time, like when I was dating in my 20s compared to my 30s, it was a completely different experience. Because in your 20s, there's fewer scars. There is faster trust. There's higher intimacy. But then when you get into your 30s, like, you have that emotional armor that's on a little bit tighter, and you have more discernment. You are looking more so for red flags as opposed to green flags. And there is this trigger in your head where you're like, okay, I've seen this movie before. So there's a protective layering that's going on a lot of times. And I think, one thing that I often would hear is, like, there'd be critics about early marriages and things like that. To me, it was like, well, you do want younger marriages if you can, but for some other people, like, that just doesn't work out. And there's one term that I talked to in the past in some other interviews, is the idea of, like, romantic leprosy. Because sometimes when you have been hurt before, you could be very happy, you could be very healthy, you could be very whole. But then if there is something that emotionally infects you, you sometimes, and not necessarily just the church, but everywhere, where you kind of feel exiled in this singleness wilderness. And, like, with the lepers that were ancient in the Bible, like, they lost touch, they lost belonging.
Oh,
they
I
lost
thought you were
community.
talking about those guys that got caught with those white dudes for Kamala shirts on before she lost. There ain't no coming back on social media from that, man.
Another discussion. But I think right now, especially because we've lost that human interaction, we've lost that personal touch, the dating app fatigue is real, and it's like trying to look for something different.
Okay, word. I'm digging this.
Well said.
So you said that you've interviewed a buttload of people and you have a huge pool of thousands of people, but you have an excess of girls. Usually it's the reverse problem. Usually, like, if you go to a club, they have to do famously, like, ladies' night, where girls drink free, or girls get tickets free, or girls get to come to the concert for free, because you generally want to attract as many attractive young ladies as you can, so that people, when they're driving by the club, they see that, oh, there's a bunch of pretty girls in there. Maybe I'll go in there and I'll take a, I'll buy a girl a drink, or else I'll take a chance, or whatever, right? So usually in these pools, there's always an excess of women, but there's an excess of men, so they have to try and give the freebies away to women. But you're saying you've actually had the reverse problem, where there's an excess of women?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. So what happened was we were pretty even. I mean, maybe like 90, I don't know, like it was pretty even. And then we did a general conference ad. I don't know if you saw our ad during the general conference. Well, you guys if you're in Salt Lake, you saw them. So it ran on KSL, and we were overwhelmed. Like, our response was overwhelming from women. So, and we had men sign up also that weekend. But that's why I reached out to you, Cardon, because I know your audience, and I just thought, I have got to get I have some amazing women, amazing guys too. Ladies, sign up. I have amazing guys. But the truth of the matter is, the more people I have in my dating pool and in my company, the more people I can put together. So right now we're working long days because everybody wants to go out for Valentine's weekend. So we're furiously matching everybody and setting up those dates and helping them with that. But yes, I need amazing men to take my women out, and especially my women over 30. So the problem that I'm seeing is that so many men come to me, and listen, Cardon, maybe 6 days ago, I had a millionaire write me, just what you were saying. He was like, I just recently sold my business. I have millions of dollars. And he's like, I'm 46 years old, and can you hook me up with somebody who's 22? And I had to be honest.
Wait, no, you got to half your age and add 7.
No.
Hold on. He's 46, so half of 46 is 23, and add 7, so he can only say 31 without it looking awkward.
Listen.
Right?
Like, over 30, if the girl agrees to it, if she knows she's going to date somebody who's that much older, that's fine. But a 22-year-old, like, you better be Bill Belichick. You better be Tom Brady. Like, there's like, I don't have any 22-year-olds who are digging on the 46-year-olds. I'm honest. Listen, Cardon, I told you I'd be brutal honest. I am.
I'm still trying to figure out that Bill Belichick thing. How did that work out? Anyway.
Yeah, dude. Anyway. Well, okay, but also, why not let a girl gold dig? What if there's a girl that's like, hey, my talent is just looking, smoking hot and gorgeous, and I want to go for the 65-year-old with a heart condition that's worth $40 million? Because you know what? I can put up with it. I can Anna Nicole Smith it for 5 or 6 years, and then I'm a millionairess. Like,
Right.
come on. Why isn't that an opportunity? There's some
Okay, because that's not a temple marriage. That's a civil marriage. That's not a temple marriage, and we specialize in temple marriages. That is the difference. That's why that's why our company is different. Jolynn and I, we filter for that. We want people to go the distance, not just to the bank. Like, we want people to form families and to be happy in the long run, not just that temporary dopamine hit of $20 million until the guy croaks. Like, no, we're not into that.
Okay, by the way, I hope my audience knows this, but I also hope that others that are tuning in for the first time realize sometimes I do play the devil's advocate, people here. You know, I've got a bunch of moms telling their children, don't listen to more radio anymore. You know, they're telling you to go dig. So anyway, wow, this is interesting. So what does we already spent so much time, but I have so many questions. So you were saying what the interview process is like. So you straight up background check these people. Do you kind of get to know them and just feel them out, like personality wise?
100%. 100%. Can I tell you, Cardon, Jolynn and I get the questionnaires back. Jolynn goes through it first, and then she just marks everything up and says, Nicole, look at this, look at this, look at this. And then I look it over, and then we set up, depending on the package that you buy, it's either an in-person and we take them to dinner and we sit down for an hour to 2 hours and just get to know them, or it's a Zoom. And sometimes those answers are conflicting. And so that's why we take it so seriously. We want to meet with you. We want to know you. We want to know everything about you and your hopes and your dreams. And that's what we do. That's why we're different, because the apps work for some people. I'm not going to deny it. But for most people, it's like David's saying, it's super superficial. That's it. That's all you're looking at. And so we get into the other things that are beneficial in getting in a relationship with this person. So before we send them on a date, we say, like, I have a date going out next Thursday. And I told the girl, I said, listen, he is the sweetest guy, like the sweetest guy. He wants a woman because he wants to treat her like a queen.
Sounds overweight.
That's what he said.
What's his
No,
BMI?
he's not. No, he's not.
I'm totally just kidding.
He's not. But here's the thing is then he set a date, and they both have like similar backgrounds, and he set a date and she was upset, like, because he wasn't going to take her to dinner. And this date is amazing. So I had to say, listen, if you earn a second date, he'll take you to dinner. But this guy has laid it out on the table. This is going to be amazing, an amazing experience. So listen, like, we do all that.
Okay. Have you gotten any marriages out of this?
No, we just opened our doors the end of May, and I can't wait for my first marriage.
Okay,
That's what I tell everybody.
Are people successfully dating though?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you notice any commonalities between the people that have started successfully dating?
Well, here's the thing that I love about our matchmaking process is, within 1 or 2 dates, like, yeah, this is exactly what I'm looking for, or no, I think, and they come back and say, I want this. Like, I thought I needed this, but now I need this. So then we refine that and get that feedback, and then we move it to a second date. So that's what we specialize in, is helping refine like what you're looking for. For instance, I have this guy and he's amazing. And he had all these requirements, went on the first date, and he came back and he's like, that was everything that was on my checklist. But you know what? I didn't realize, I think I need this and maybe this. And she was fantastic. And I'm going to go on another date just to see how it goes. But I didn't even realize that she had this whole, like, you gave me everything I wanted, but now I think I want something a little bit different. Like, once I had that, because he'd never had that. And once he had that, he was like, oh shoot, like, maybe I think I want a little more of this. So then his next person, we moved on and we refined it, and he got what he was looking for, but he didn't even know that's what he wanted. He didn't even know. You have to date, and you have to date seriously, not just these flippant, like, swipe here, meet me here, we're going to hang out. And then, yeah, it wasn't quite our vibe. It has to be a great date where you actually sit and talk and you get to know each other.
Wow. Okay, David, by the way, I have so many questions, but jump right in, bro.
Yeah, I got questions too on this.
Yeah, hit it.
So one thing I'm sure there could be concerns about is price barriers. So
Right.
one thing first off, do you, like I've seen one other matchmaker service that I looked into where they would have, like, even if you couldn't afford it, you would pay a background check fee but then also like you basically were like on the roster for someone to choose. Like it wasn't necessarily something
The
like
roster.
that. Almost kind of like a discount. I don't know how else to say it. Like a depth chart and whatever. So, but then I also looked real quick on the website where you do have something where, because this church is amazing when it comes to families and church members trying to help other singles try and find an eternal companion. So do you have anything where the families or church members can assist for a single that they want to assist?
I love that question, David. We have a one of a kind, the only one in the world. It's called a dating gift registry. So friends and families, like bros, can get together and buy a gift. Do not laugh, Cardon. I will slap you.
If you have a socially awkward roommate, all the other roommates can team up and can buy his membership. Oh
100.
my gosh!
100.
How many parents do you have that are just hoping they're failed to launch?
Who else does that? Who else does that?
Okay, how many parents have bought memberships for their failed to launch 30-something-year-old gamers that they want out of the basement?
At least 25.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. More than that.
Wow. But actually, that's a good thing, though, because maybe that's the only thing that'll work.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing is that most people are pretty shy. Like, I mean, the stigma that goes with a matchmaker is sometimes people come to me and they're like, am I such a loser? I got to hire you. And I'm like, no, that's exact opposite. Like, you're such a winner that you're going to focus your time living your life and you're going to let me help you out. Like,
I agree with that.
Right. That's bougie. Like that is self-help at its very best. Now, to go back to your question, do you know anybody that would help you out for $350, David? Because that's what my starting price is.
I see. Yeah.
Oh,
that's no different than what the premium apps would cost you for a year, and you get a year in my dating pool. So listen, I'm not here to make money. If I was here to make money, I would charge 5 times what I'm charging. I'm here to get people married. Like that is my true goal. People say all the time, I get interviewed by the media and like, what's your ultimate goal? I'm like, I want to go to their weddings. It's what I want to do. I want to see people happy. And this loneliness epidemic that I see in these amazing people is heartbreaking. And that's why I started this business.
Oh no, that is amazing. I love that. So last question before we go, because unfortunately we got a hard out coming up for a live stream. What are you going to do for my boy David Boyce here? I've been pushing him. I tried to get him to go to Hooters today. He wouldn't go. I tried to get him to talk to. No, look at that. She's like, okay, maybe. Oh, okay. Oh, so he won't pass a background check because he was in a biker gang.
Demographic.
He wasn't in a. He was in a biker gang. Is it okay if he
was in a biker gang?
Yeah, you could pass off as a biker gang guy, couldn't you?
That'll make you hot. To some people, that's hot.
So what do we got to do for D Boyce?
The fake tattoos. That's what it is.
Yeah,
fake tattoos.
So what should we do for D Boyce? Let's just say me and the rest of the Ward Radio guys want to pool our money. And we want to buy him an honorary membership, you know what I'm saying, and push him into the dating pool. Like, I'm trying to get him to do 52 dates in 52 weeks instead of 52 churches in 52 weeks, 52 dates in 52 weeks. But he's a little bit shy. He's not as gregarious as me. He's not as insanely outgoing. He's outgoing, but he's not nuts about it.
And that could backfire a lot. So.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Maybe it could backfire. So what do we got to do?
Ladies love that exactly. They love the shy guys because they know that they're not going to be like dogging them all the time, like ripping on them. So listen, here's the deal. I talked to my co-founder, Jolynn, and we're going to gift you a membership. Oh. But what I need from your audience is I need your audience to apply for the dating pool. So I have 52 dates for 52 weeks for you.
Oh man.
That's what I need from you guys. So that's my challenge to the Ward Radio is that everybody listening gets together and says, who wants to date David? And they hit up our website just for the dating pool. That's it. And we'll even give you a discount. We'll do a Ward Radio discount and let's get you dating. And here's the thing.
Bro, you just got hooked up. Crap, dude.
Eat your heart out, The Bachelor or Provost Most Eligible. Like what?
Yeah, dude.
Oh boy.
So wait, no. So what do you think he has to do though for that date? Like, is the blue polo shirt working? Does he need to wear a flannel so he fits in Salt Lake City a little bit better with maybe a baseball hat?
I forgot my flannel. Unfortunately, at home.
So I like the blue. The blue looks good with his eyes. So I want him to be authentically him. So just whatever he feels comfortable in.
Okay.
Like, don't show up with some goofy like Donald Duck T-shirt or something like that, or I'll run you to Nordstrom's and change your clothes before you go on a date. That's not okay.
That's in Cardon's closet.
It's not Donald Duck, it's Super Mario. Shut up, man. Oh, dude, that is funny. I'm a brony. Don't laugh. So
I digress.
Yeah. It's, for anybody that knows what bronies are, oh, you're dying there. That's funny. So anyway, wow, this is my mind is blown. This is intriguing. Okay, I had no idea that I was going to have this much fun talking about Utah matchmakers. Before I go though, why aren't there more of these? This is big in both the doctrine and the culture of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And one could say that just the general ethos of our culture has played a very matchmaking role. But in the wake of all of these isms, feminism, wokeism, all of just the social isms coming out of the 60s, I think a lot of those social norms and those cultural bottlenecks that kind of helped people get together have been really fractured and frayed. And so there's it's changed. The guy grind hasn't changed too much, but the girl grind sure as heck has. So like, why aren't there, like, why isn't this a bigger part of our culture? Having matchmakers.
I don't know. I saw the vacuum and I shot my shot. My best friend and I, Jolynn, we thought of this about 2 years ago. We were at lunch and we thought this idea would be great just because of our children. And we see how difficult it is and how amazing, like literally we're not talking about the booger eater sitting in the corner. We're talking about the guys and the gals that have advanced degrees and they have their own homes and they have careers. Like this literally is the last piece of the puzzle that they need, right? So we thought about this and then we both went like, bro, we don't have any business experience. So we went to the U and we got a business degree and then we just opened our doors. And after that, we're just like, let's do this. Let's go. And so that's why we were so excited to be with you, Cardon, is because we want this to be as big as it can possibly. The more people that we have in the dating pool, the more people we can put together. So that's what I'm asking from your audience is join us. We have amazing people and let's have thousands of daters going out by conference weekend. I would love that.
Wow, that is crazy. All right. Well, I mean, where can people find you?
UTMatch.com.
UT.
If you have any questions, it's Nicole at UTMatch.
Well, what if they're like Californians? What if they're Arizonians? What if they're Idaho?
Okay, so we have inquiries all the time. Let me tell you. So I have an amazing woman who's an attorney in New York who's on my waiting list. She's outside. So we call that a waiting list. You're outside our demographic. We don't take their money because I can't guarantee that I can set them up with somebody, even though they're willing to fly to Utah for the dates. And don't think they haven't. We have California boys fly in for our Utah girls, right? So here's the thing. We can take out-of-staters, but we just put you on a wait list before we take your money. And then we take your money once we have somebody for you. So we're very fair. We're very upfront. I don't promise anybody anything. It's not like I'm sitting here promising everybody, even David, that I'm going to find his eternal mate. But I do tell him this, that it's going to be low stress. I'm going to take all the anxiety. You're going to enjoy this process and let's date. Let's have fun.
Wow. Okay. All right. David Boyce, any last questions before we go?
I like that because it's like a matchmaker doesn't promise chemistry, but it does promise seriousness and a mutual accountability with everything. So I really enjoyed just this discussion because
you got a freaking free matchmaker out of it.
Especially because it's like I'm very new to a singles ward, and you have that different type of those hopes and dreams, and there can be a lot of doom and gloom. So a lot of time, what I'm kind of realizing with this is, it can be a little bit of a beacon. It can be some hope. It can give you some a method and some guidance to a certain extent.
Okay. Wow.
Absolutely.
Holy smoke. Okay. This is nuts. I'm intrigued. I would die to be a fly on the wall of all those dates. Like, wouldn't that just be, your job must be so fun.
It is the best. Jolynn and I love it. Like, I can't tell you, we work long days. We're not even taking a paycheck because every dime that we get, we put into like advertising, and like, we love it. We love what we do. We're not doing it for a paycheck. We're doing it for the long-term goal of seeing marriages, and we're serious about it. And sometimes I'm a little brutal. Sometimes I'm like Cardon, and I just say how it is. Jolynn is the sweetheart. So if you want the sweetness, Jolynn brings that. If you want the hard hitting Nicole, then that's who you get with me.
Well, you're going to end up hooking up some apostle's daughter with some like doctor or lawyer, and then they're going to make you the General Relief Society president, first counselor or something.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you're gunning for the girl red chair. That's what you're doing.
Nope.
No, I'm just kidding.
Nope.
I'm just kidding. All right. Well, guys, let us know what you think in the comments below. If you, when you were single, you would have liked seeing this, that'd be super interesting. If you are single, I guess, what's your URL again?
It's UTMatch.com.
So it's UTMatch.com, but not spelled Utah, spelled UT is what you're saying.
So we're actually just called UTMatch. We're not Utah Match. We're UTMatch. But you can find us like on Instagram at UTMatchmakers or TikTok at UTMatchmakers. But we're full on UTMatch. And we started just thinking about we're just going to help people along the Wasatch Front because we're just a little matchmaking company. And now we have inquiries. I mean, I'm telling you, we get inquiries from Uganda, from Ukraine, from like everywhere. And so when I say that we have a wait list, we have a wait list. We have great people and we need more. Like the more great people we have, this is the conundrum. The more great people we have, the more great people we need. That's why I came to you.
Wow. Okay. Well, I thought I was just going to have a fun conversation. I'll be honest with you. I didn't realize that I was participating in some romantic revolution. Like this is crazy. So, okay. I was originally going to title this Latter-day Saint Matchmakers Are a Thing. But now apparently I found out it's more than a thing. And Nicole Miller is leading the charge. And holy smoke, my mind is blown. So Taylor Frankie Paul, if you don't make it onto being the Bachelorette yourself and you're looking for somebody to fall in love with and you don't have a national television show at your disposal, I guess there's a close second.
I think she has a
Nicole
domestic
Miller.
violence against her, doesn't she?
Oh, there are some beefs there. Yeah, maybe her. Yeah, okay. So, but she's hot enough. She get away with it, dude. She's hot enough. She can get away with it. Let's all
You'll
be
sponsor
honest. Let's all be honest. Yeah, she's totally. I think the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is a net positive for us because now people are thinking Mormon's kind of weird, but dang, they're hot. You know what I'm saying? Which I'd rather be thought of as hot and weird than just unattractive and weird. Like there's That's
true. Cardon, my husband travels a lot and he gets that question all the time. So he was in Wisconsin a few weeks ago and they were like, you have a Mormon wife? And he's like, yeah, not like that. And they're like, so then he started showing pictures and he's like, but my wife's pretty tough. Like she could do this, but she doesn't.
That's funny.
So yeah, he gets asked that a lot.
Wow. All right. So this was a blast. David, where can people find you?
Well, I'm 52 churches in 52 weeks.
Soon to be 52 dates in 52 weeks, apparently.
Apparently so. So we'll see how that goes.
We'll see how that goes. For this and more, please check us out at wardradio.com.